kamikaze, but it couldn't be terrorism.
Blackwater is not a terrorist.
It's us. Terrorists are us.
So there's this other aspect, fuming rust. This is a picture from FEMA. We know it's not hot because those diggers wouldn't be working. Here we have steel that turns to rust. I think we all know the steel, yeah, eventually it rusts with creeping crud kind of on it, but it doesn't instantly rust. What do we know that instantly rusts? Iron. Like an iron skillet sitting in your sink overnight with water in it is bright orange. But this is steel. It's not iron. Why does it look like iron? The plot thickens. Just like instantly. I wonder if also the digger holding the glowing molten metal, the Cheeto picture, is to train us to see molten metal when we see orange pipes that are rusty. How does the front end of this truck become instantly rusted in some places, not where all the dents are? Some of the places is missing paint, but it didn't rust. It's just instant rust. The office fires don't do that. It's a chemical plant fire in China. Does it look familiar? It's this little fire down here, and you get the orange. Right after 9/11, this is the first day FEMA uploaded pictures for 9/11. Look at this fire truck, and this is bright orange coil of something here that's rusty. Rusty here. Every bit of steel is turned to rust that you see.
Are you presenting FEMA pictures as perception or reality?
I'm looking at all the pictures in totality and looking at the consistency. There's various folks that took different pictures at different times, different groups. If private individuals took pictures that showed the same thing, this instant rust seems very consistent across the board. And this particular fire truck was filmed by different people. This is just private individuals had taken these other pictures. This is the FEMA picture. Very rusty, and that's like right afterwards, within a few days. 1 to 2 days. Here's a picture of a steel pipe that's orange rust. I cut out the top left-hand quadrant so you can see an enlargement. The bottom of this pipe is not rusty. Could it be there's some sort of a cloud wherever it bumps into something it rusts, and this other kind of cloud that is not activated doesn't do that? So maybe we have activated clouds. And just out of interest, I decided I would try a tacky Photoshop job, and I highlighted all items in this picture that were that color, and then tweaked the color scheme. But you notice these little specks in various places of where it's that color, that rust color. Back to the toasted cars. Instant rust. This particular car here is parked under FDR Drive. Why is the inside of that car, it looks totally toasted, but why is it rusty? And bright orange rust here. And this is looking down through the swamp, down West Broadway again. Notice how this has that peeling look to it. This bus down there, there's something funny going on with the roof. It looks like it's pooched out, kind of fatter on either side. And there's a car down here. The color doesn't show up so well in this picture, but it's rusty already. Right there. We get a closer look at it later. But see how the bus isn't so pooched out up there anymore. Something continued to deteriorate, it appears. From the USGS study, they were going to show us, the content of ferric and ferrous dust. One thing I picked out of their text, notice they accidentally called it iron, the iron beams. And I've seen other people in the 9/11 movement call steel beams iron. But iron rapidly rusts. Steel does not. Steel is also much stronger than iron. That's why they use structural steel to build buildings and don't use iron. From satellite imagery, this is without the background grayscale map, you can see ground zero and how the dust was left pretty much in the way we saw that cloud move. Guess what? They didn't collect dust samples from that region much. So what did their dust readings look like? And here's the various sample points. You notice how there aren't any really here? But where its pink zones are, that's where I know there's toasted cars. There's none of those toasted car places where they took dust samples. Now, they did this quantitative analysis on one chart saying, lots, moderate amount, trace, and not detectable. And I colored these dots. Blue is the highest, and it goes down to white. The bottom, or white is unreported also. So you notice this color scheme, lots of yellow up here, red kind of there. Then this is see the black area? I superimposed it with the smoke map of where the smoke plume went. You notice it's not many data sample points here. Then they also did a quantitative set of data. And they have, these numbers. I tried to make the color scale similar. And here's where those points lie. How did those two compare? Well, I put them in an ordered list and then tried to compare the same point on one scale was down here and on the other scale was there. There's no correlation. They should kind of follow the same trend. But it just seemed kind of random. And these weren't even reported on by the set of blue data. So I don't think I trust that data. It seems kind of random. Besides, it was collected 6 or 7 or more days later, after it had already rained, once or twice, heavy rains. And they talked about it was caked up and they had to chip it loose. Do you think they had any fine particles in that glob that they measured? Now we're going to look at a bunch of lathering up. I have 2 different series. The first one is by Iman Zafar. He had an apartment across the Hudson, took a bunch of pictures, and he got a lot of what was going on with Tower 2. Then another series with Tower 1. I'll mainly just go through these quickly, but let's notice a few things. Towers are cooking away here. Something interesting about this picture here. Both towers are standing. Why is southern Manhattan fuming? It's gotten hazy down here. And then you notice different things coming out of the building at different points. Like, what's this black stuff coming out? And there's also a place where, the mechanical floors of the North Tower, it had fuzzy blobs. Here you get, come down the home stretch there. But there's a bunch of interesting events. Like here's, let's see, this one you can't see very well, but the mechanical floor of the North Tower has a big fuzzy blob that comes out of it. And I call this silly string. It looks like silly string squirting out of the mechanical floor of the South Tower. But you can tell when the building gets ready to go. It suddenly gets really furry looking with this black stuff. This is the South Tower. And then there it goes. Right after it goes, notice this series. And what I noticed in this was, as the cloud rolls out, not much happens, but then notice Tower 1 starts spitting out this stuff that I call lathering up. Looks like soap suds. Look at this picture here. So it's not from the clouds rolling out. It's from some other process that's meant to happen at the same time so people really don't realize what's going on. And here it is really oozing out of there, and then it gets shut off. And you have blue sky underneath that. And then he didn't have such a good series for Tower 1. But this picture is just beautiful. You have the core columns left standing, but see how it's streaked up? I wonder if that's 24-foot diameter, cylindrical beams. The plot thickens. And remember this spire turned to dust. We've seen these before, so I'll zip through them quicker.